You are listening to Season 2 of the Humans of AI Stories Not Stats podcast. Me, Devi Parikh and Dhruv Batra talk to AI researchers to try and understand who they are as people, what their life is like, what they think about, what they're insecure about, and what they get really excited about. Questions that reveal the stories of their day to day life. In this episode, Dhruv talks with Gkioxari, who is a research scientist at Facebook AI Research and the program chair for CVPR 2021. Georgia talks about her love for coding, running experiments, and hands-on work, the importance of not overthinking things, the 24-hour rule, and lots more. Interestingly, in the end, Dhruv finds himself on the other side of the table answering some of Georgia's questions about his experiences of talking to AI researchers and learning more about their lives. For more information about the podcast and the episodes, you can log on to www.humanstories.ai. And yeah, let's get right into it.
Hey, Georgia.
Hi, I haven't seen you in so long.
Yeah. Like, well, offices have been closed. There's no chance to just randomly bump in. Yeah. How have you
How's
been?
life?
Good. I don't know if I mentioned Devi and I got our first shot, and we're about to get our second shot this weekend, and so we will be vaccinated. We will be immunized.
That's awesome. And then you don't have to be afraid anymore all the time.
Yeah, I think more than that, we'll give it a couple of weeks, and after that, we can at least travel domestically. Like, I want to go see my sister, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I want to go see my parents. I haven't seen them in 2 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I last saw my parents in December 2019, so just over a year at this point. But yeah. Hopefully soon.
Good luck. I hope now no side effects come through with the second one. Some people say that it's like.
Yeah, I think we expect like stronger versions of the first one. We both of us, our arms were sore, and we got like slight cold-ish symptoms.
Which one did you get? You get Pfizer or Moderna?
Moderna.
Okay.
Yeah, but we didn't have a choice. We just go to CVS.
Yeah, you take what they give you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you say thank you.
Yes, like correct.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get started. So
okay.
Gkioxari, welcome to Humans of AI. That was not 100% accurate, was it? How do you pronounce it?
It was pretty close. Gkioxari.
Gkioxari. Okay, thank you. Welcome to Humans of AI. As you know, this is being recorded. I have a sequence of questions for you. Some are going to be light and may not require a lot of thought. Others may require a bit more consideration. So feel free to pause, take your time to think. You don't have to answer everything. We can skip if you want to. But when in doubt, if you can err on the side of being open, transparent, vulnerable, we'll appreciate it. Does that sound good?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. So what were you doing right before this call?
I was trying to figure out some math regarding some sort of camera transforms. That's exactly what I was doing. Haven't solved it yet. So I was like, okay, I need to work on this after this.
Oh man, that is such a computer vision flex. I was in my regular daytime, I solved projective camera geometry problems.
Yes, I mean, it's part of the job to figure that out.
Yeah. What's your daily routine like?
Right now with COVID, daily routine. I wake up later than usual because I no longer have to commute. And I drink coffee and I look at my email. My inbox this past year is every day. I have this thing where I want my inbox to be zero. I don't know if a lot of people can relate, but I can't go to bed if I have like pending emails that I need to respond to. But that I had to not do that anymore because my inbox now is like 100 emails every morning that all need responding because of CVPR 2021. So I do that. I try to go through emails, try to respond to things. And then I start with work. I try to code as much as possible, run experiments. I do a lot of first author work. So I want half my day to be devoted to that, the other half be in the projects that I'm more of an advisor role, or work with other people, try to meet with them to see if they want to chat about anything. And I think that gets me to like 5 to 6 p.m. Of course, there's break in between for lunch. And then I try really hard to have a clean stop for life after that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And for people who may not have got the context early on, you were one of the program chairs of CVPR 2021. Hence the 100 emails that you're getting every day about CVPR.
Correct.
And the Twitter notifications, which is a modern phenomena where people just go, "Hey CVPR," like as if it's tech support. I find that amusing.
I know. I just I responded to somebody today. I was like, if you really want our help, you have to email us and not tag me on a tweet. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the favorite part of your day?
My favorite part definitely the coding part, and just running experiments, doing hands-on work. And of course, actually, it's not fair to say it's my favorite. There are different things. I do like building things and running things and seeing that loss go down. I don't know if you're like that. And I definitely do enjoy talking to, students or collaborators at Facebook and talking about research. I really like that part too.
And what's the least favorite part of your day?
My least favorite part of the day. Let me think. I would say my lowest lows were definitely with CVPR, trying to put out fires, making sure that everybody delivers at the timeline that we said to deliver. I think that was definitely the worst part. Necessary, but not fun. That's what I want to be. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Least favorite does not mean it does not mean you are going to shirk your responsibility. It's just perhaps not the reason why you get up in the morning.
Okay. Oh yeah. Correct. Yes.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would sleep in.
Okay. And do you end up snoozing a lot?
I used to a lot when I had to wake up early when I was commuting. So I would set up my alarm 20 minutes before I actually had to wake up. But now I think that I get more sleep, so I don't really need to. I feel that when you snooze, it's your body's telling you that you need more sleep. So I feel that I don't have that need anymore.
Okay, good.
Do you snooze? Do you put an alarm?
I do put an alarm. I generally tend not to snooze. But let's remember, I've already done this interview.
Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah. I feel that we're chatting, So.
Yeah, no, that is. I think I'm succeeding if you feel we're chatting and that you can ask me questions back. Are you a planner, or do you operate on gut feel, or do you go with the flow?
I think both. I feel that when you're a researcher, you have to go with the flow at the same time plan. Go with the flow means that you really need to adjust, how you're working, how you're feeling. You want to attack a problem, ideas that you might have, both because you read archive papers or you see something that you have not seen before. So you want to adjust everything. Or because your experiments show that things don't work. So in that regard, I try to be very flexible, and not be very set in stone with an idea. But at the same time, I try to plan very thoroughly, especially things when collaborating with more junior people, to give them some sort of structure and goals and what they need to achieve. And especially when you work at a company, maybe not a lot of people know this, but planning is sort of a part of a lot of the things that we do, especially when we work with people that are not primarily and purely researchers, but engineers who need to exactly know and allocate their time. And I think that's also good for me, to be honest. So I try to adopt a lot of these things that we do as part of a bigger group when you work in a bigger team, and do it also for myself.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Do you struggle with procrastination?
I would say I would lean towards no for that. I don't, when I'm very excited about something, I will not procrastinate. When I do things that I don't really want to do, I will try to like, oh, maybe I'll take a little walk before I do this and stuff like that.
Like
so yeah,
taxes.
Yes. Oh yeah. Correct. So when it comes to like doing these things, I would say I procrastinate. But when it comes to doing things I like, I don't feel the need to.
And do you struggle with time management?
I don't, but the cost of it being that I tend to work more.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'd rather, I feel like I feel that I don't like extending things beyond when they need to be delivered and when they need to be out. And I feel that I didn't have that urge to wanting to do that because that would be healthier for work-life balance.
Do you think you're competitive, Georgia?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I do.
Okay.
Competitive, I would say competitive in the sense that I like for things to be successful. I don't know. No, I don't think I'm competitive with other people or other I don't have faces or anything like that. But I am like I like things to be impactful. So yeah, I don't know if that's the same.
Yeah, maybe you're competitive with past versions of yourself, and so it's less about other people.
Right, correct.
Is there a rejection or a failure that hurt particularly bad?
Rejection or failure. I can't think of anything. I'm sure. I mean, yes, like when you get papers rejected, that hurts. And when I think, yeah, that's the closest thing I can. And of course, there were like in the past when you're a student and you're taking all these exams and all these tests, like those things definitely hurt too. And I still sometimes wake up dreaming that like I have to take the GRE all over again. So
the GRE made that big a dent on your psyche?
I don't know why.
Okay. This is, I try to not inject too much of my own thing in this, but like your answer reminded me, you want to know what mine is? I sometimes have a nightmare that I still have one more year to finish in my undergrad, that somehow I've gotten my PhD and I'm a faculty, but I skipped over that 1 year and I have to go finish it. Otherwise people will find out and take my PhD away. That's like horrifying.
That I relate to that 100%. And when you wake up and you realize that, oh my God, that was a dream, then it's like that relief that, oh wow, no, life's good. I don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah. Okay. I'm surprised the GRE is that for you.
GRE was a very stressful experience for me. I don't know about others, but if it was something that was completely out of my comfort zone, having to do this with this time pressure, and then the English part with words that I have never seen again.
Yeah, yeah. There's almost like a separate, especially if English is a second language, maybe not even if it's a second language. Like there's like GRE vocabulary that does not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So maybe the converse of the question, is there a particular achievement or success that felt particularly good?
Yeah, I think that in various stages of my life, I would say yes. I think at this stage, it comes from when the people around me sort of, you know, are happy with working together or doing things together or with the result of a project. Um, so that always feels good. Or I think in the past it was, um, when somebody that was like, again, I feel that it's a lot of like coming from being validated by people. When my PhD advisor or undergrad advisor said like, oh, this is great, they were excited about something. So I would say these little things, and I'm keeping this in the workspace, but there is similar things in life about that too.
You don't have to keep it in the workspace. I think that's completely up to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, what I think that when it comes to my friends, and I really like it when I have done something for them or I have contributed to something in their life that was important, and I've had where my presence and my doing something, it was a stepping stone for them.
What is one thing that you think you're worse at compared to the people around you? And that, again, could be in a non-professional setting or a professional setting or a niche hobby setting, however you define a neighborhood.
Yeah. There's a lot of things I feel that I would want to do more, and that I'm not good at. Oh, there's so many things I'm not good at. I'm not good at cooking. I wish I was. I feel that I am not very good at having good relationship with my family from a long distance. I felt that that's something that I have been trying to improve since I moved away. Trying to have meaningful discussions and meaningful anything through Skype or FaceTime, or like trying to understand what their problems are. And I feel that every time I go back and see them in person, I feel that I've missed all of these things that have happened because I wasn't able to build something that was substantial.
And have you seen examples of somebody doing that well, or other people who manage to keep that? Like, is it doable?
Yeah, I do. I see like there is, other people in my family who are much better at that. And that comes, of course, with the cost of, spending more time talking to them, or listening more, reading between the lines. I wish I could do that, and I'm trying, but I feel that I'm not doing a good job.
And perhaps the converse of this question, what do you think is your biggest strength, something that you're significantly better at, or that than, for example, an average?
I don't think I'm significantly better than average on anything, in the sense that I feel that I put a lot of attention to the things that I like, and try to do a good job there. But I don't think that I can't say that I'm better than anybody else or than any around me. That's a difficult question, Dhruv. I don't.
Actually, I think so. This question, forget other people. Like, what? Maybe if you just limited it to your skill set, then it becomes a bit narrower. And
to my skill set. I feel that I am good in coding. Good in writing, sort of figuring out how to optimize something to make it faster or make it more efficient. Like, going low level, like having to write some CUDA or source. Not that I'm good at, like, again, compared to other people, but I feel that that's something that I value a lot, and I feel that I do well. I feel that I am good at prototyping ideas and experimenting with them. And that's in the work part. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. By the way, it's funny you say that, because in my interview I had said that one thing that I'm worse at than compared to people around me is coding, and I was imagining, the people who literally sit around me, including you, and I'm like, yeah, there are other people who are just like significantly better at this. So yeah, that this makes sense.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it's fun. It's just
no, it's fine, and it's like it's actually, it correlates with what you enjoy, right? And I don't think that we should, like, if you enjoy that, then that makes sense. If you don't, then of course, then it's a drag trying to do this.
What is one favorite tool or trick or hack that you found that you think makes life more convenient or efficient or fun? Something that makes you go, "Ooh, this is a good trick. I'll use this."
In life or in work?
Whichever zone you want to focus on.
I think that one trick that has worked for me is not to overthink things. So, okay, I want to give particular examples. Like, for example, I would not, I tend to say, I tend to do things more impromptu rather than think them through, because I realized that in the past I was thinking them through, and then it was when you try to think of a lot of, oh, what could happen if I did this, or what could not happen if I did this, then it will lead to you not doing it, because thinking about things always makes us say, that the cons are trumping the pros. And other, I'm trying to think. What was your answer to that question?
My answer to that question was that if I need to get something done, then my trick is to try and somehow get it on Devi's to-do list. Because once it's on Devi's to-do list, it gets scheduled, it becomes a calendar entry, it will go into a right bucket, it will have a deadline and a due date, it'll get done, it'll get decomposed into small sub-steps, and it may actually get some of them get delegated back to me, but at least it will get done if I can somehow convince her that this is something that should be on her to-do list.
Does Debbie know that?
She knows. She's aware that I have injection attacks, and now I genuinely have to find positive sum games where it is the right strategy.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good trick. Okay, I need to think. Yeah, I don't think oh, that's good. I need a Debbie in my life.
Well, that's a good slogan. Maybe everybody needs a Debbie. Yeah. Okay. So maybe related to your answer, my next question: how do you make difficult decisions when you're faced with the decision that can have a few different choices? Are there lines of thinking or frameworks that you apply to make difficult decisions?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think that one thing that I've struggled a lot in the past with when it comes to difficult decision is to not allow my hot-headedness to to define how I decide. And this comes along with the overthinking, in the sense that I have gone through stages where I want to be calm when I make a decision, and I want to be very sort of give it time, not time to think about it, but give time to cool off. And I feel that time is like a very, I don't know, it's like a magical thing where it gives you perspective, even though you're not trying to, make complicated thought processes and, and read or try to get perspective in any other active way. You just like time does its thing.
Hmm.
So I really try to do that. And then I tend to, for example, like I feel that the most difficult decision I had to make in my life was to move away from home when I was like, go have a globe away to a country I've never been before. That I don't, the net language is not like my native language. And back then I felt that I thought this through and I knew I wanted it and I knew the risks, and I sort of said, like, you don't want to regret this.
Hmm.
So I'm like, that's a thing. Like, I don't want to think back and say, oh shit, I should have done that.
It's fine. We're all adults here. So is minimizing regret or minimizing future regret?
Yeah, I
philosophy?
think so.
Hmm.
I think so. That's how I also agreed to be a program chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Which was also a difficult decision, I have to say. And anytime that you're doing something that is outside of your comfort zone, I feel that's a difficult decision.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have an internal monologue? Do you talk to yourself in your head?
I think so.
And in what language?
In Greek.
In
That
Greek.
happens in Greek. I feel, I don't think I don't think I can think in English. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you a visual thinker? Are there pictures, plots, moving pictures, scenarios?
When I think of food, I visualize it.
Okay.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think I'm a very visual thinker. Yeah.
What do you tend to think about when you're not actively trying to think about something? Like, what do you think goes on on the back burner when you give things time, for example?
I think that when I don't try to think about anything. I actively try very hard to not like occupy my brain with a lot of things. And so I try not. This is a big part for me where I want to occupy my brain with not a lot of thoughts and ideas and lists and stuff like that, which is also why I try not to I said that I try not to overthink a lot, because I felt that it was I almost had no time to relax, and I felt that was important. And so if I try to, when I want to make a decision and I want to give it time, I'll try to occupy all of my other senses some way, like watch a movie or listen to music or be with friends and chat about whatever. So try to keep active in other ways.
How do you recharge or take a break?
Yeah, and I need that. I have to tell you, sounds great. So I found that what works for me is for me to recharge and take a break, I need to shut off. And for me, it takes 3 days to shut off, 3 to 4 days. I don't know if you relate, but you can go on vacation and sort of everything keeps running. Meetings and you have to do this. And even though you're on a break and people aren't expecting things from you and nobody's pinging you for things, you still can't. So for me, it takes 4 days for that to take effect. And then I go into I don't care mode and can relax. And this is why I try, summer breaks. I actually try to take like a big chunk of time off.
Does it still happen to you where if there's a weekend and there's a Sunday night feeling, oh, the emails are coming next morning?
Sunday nights are the worst. They're the worst. Yeah, exactly. I think that, you're always prepared for the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
Yeah, yes and no. Well, I don't. I'm happy with the friends that I have. I wish I could spend more time with the friends that are further away, that are in Greece, which I love very much. And distance has made, and COVID now has made everything very difficult.
Mhm.
So yes, I'm with a number, not as much with the in-depth relationship in the past few years.
Do you think you're average, above average, or below average happy compared to the people around you?
Wow. Okay, around me, living in the Bay Area, I feel I'm below average happy compared to people in Greece.
Okay.
I feel that I'm above average happy compared to people where I live in the Bay Area.
Interesting. Interesting. You also made fascinating claims about the means of two different populations.
Yes, I did.
Interesting.
Yeah. I feel that in Greece, even though people have very different lifestyle, they don't have as many financially, they're not as well off as the people around me here. And a lot of people are working a lot. I feel that at least I don't want to generalize, because I mean, things are very tough in Greece. Like, it's been through like 10 years of like financial disaster that has impacted the people a lot. But I feel that people have a work-life balance and are so good at focusing on their social life and not being overtaken by work. So my mental thinking is that means that they're happy, or that they have figured out a way to sort of vent out. But while here, I feel that everybody's so overworked and stressed out.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What is something surprising about you? Something that the rest of us may not guess?
Oh, how my accent changes to very heavy Greek when I'm around Greek people. I think that you've commented on this before.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that was a joke. Something surprising about me.
The code switching thing and the accent thing is a phenomenon, not just with
Yes.
people, but it's a common thing. Like I've seen that. I'm sure that happens to me as well, although I can't recall specific instances. But I know that there are certain friends from undergrads, for example, when I'll talk to them, it was an undergrad college in a particular part of India, and like I know how people from that region talk, and like I find myself almost switching to a different accent. So it's very real.
No, it's very real. It's very real. Though it is. I think that a lot of people around me have, or that are surprised by this very often when they see it. And of course, I point it out because it's different. But so I guess I don't know, because I don't find anything. I haven't figured out anything about me that I'm surprised with.
And what is one thing about the world that surprises you?
Oh, so I mean, since COVID, like I feel that every day it's like, oh wow, like but yeah, I mean, I feel that the interaction with people, there's always surprising things that happen, different mindsets. I think that, I don't know how many people have traveled to sort of outside of city centers in the US, but to me, that's always shocking when I, drive off the Midwest, middle of nowhere, like seeing how drastic people change and their lives are, like how different it is. That is shocking to me.
What do you strongly suspect but have no proof of? Like, what are your conspiracy theories?
I feel that a lot of the things that we do, we don't have a proof of in work. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
A
That
lot
makes
of
sense.
our work is conspiracy theory that we try to prove. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I am
You-
sure. I'm sure. I believe in conspiracies, or like there is some fact, but I can't explain.
Hmm.
But I can't really pinpoint other than
Yeah.
work, deep learning.
And you find that this happening at work where you're like, I am sure this should work, or I'm sure this should not work, but like you haven't.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, we work by intuition mostly than by proof.
Proof. That makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. What is something that you've changed your mind about?
Oh, a lot of things. A lot of things. Like, I mean, I was, I don't know, like from all aspects, like disliking things when you were young to now, like you can't live without. I don't know, like for example, I talk about food a lot in this, but even though it doesn't occupy much, but like for example, I was a very picky eater when I was a kid. I think that all of us, and now I eat almost everything. Or I have changed a lot of like my mind about sort of liking or disliking different directions at work, pursuing different things, and in this case also, like I think it was a very like liking a direction and disliking it afterwards. That has also happened.
Do you have a do you want to say which one, just so yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I in particular, so, like for example, I dislike heavily now working on problems to increase a few points in performance in a task. It's a direction I like. Even though I like the problem, I dislike the goal. So that is something that, but well, in the past, it was sort of like a very driving force. But for me, it was a problem I was excited about, but also it was very like not solved, and we were very not good at. So they're increasing. I felt that increasing performance in the past when I was working on something could have a potential more impact. Now I feel that it's something that if a student comes or a collaborator comes and wants to work on this, I will have to grill them a lot to understand the motivation in order to get into it.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
What is a bad habit you're working on overcoming?
So many. Biting my fingernails, not exercising enough, yeah, I think biting my fingernails, that's something that I hate doing, and I'd like to stop.
I've given up on trying to overcome that. Like it's just I've accepted that that's just who I am at this point.
I know. I just can't. Like, yeah, you're right.
No, you don't have to do that.
No.
I wish you well. I wish you overcome it.
I know it's tough, because it's tough to see that you actively don't like something that you want to change, and for some reason you can't. Like, you don't have that power to do. It's unique. I don't know. I'd like to change it. I've succeeded many times, and then something happens and I go back to I'm angry.
Yeah. How do you imagine your retirement?
Oof, on a beach. I'm glad that you're asking this question. You know why? Because I bet you that a lot of people say, "What retirement? I'm not gonna retire." I want to retire. And I'd like to retire like sooner than later, I think. Yeah, so I imagine myself somewhere near water, near a beach, um, having like my little like farm with things that I can, have control over and growing whatever I want, close to friends and family.
Hmm. This almost sounds like you've got a place picked out in Greece.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Yeah, okay. You have an address in mind.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. Um, do you,
Okay, I know that you've answered this, but what is your answer to this question?
This is actually so I took season 1 questions and I kept 50% of them and I introduced 50% new questions. So this is one of them that I haven't answered. How do I imagine my retirement? Uh, I'm not much for beaches. Like I'd much rather want to have a view of mountains or like I'd want I like a good viewpoint and a long distance view, and so somewhere close to nature, close to a gym, close to a couple of other things, but yeah, like
But like city or like non-city?
oh, I'm okay with non-city. Yeah, I think
Okay.
being far away from cities grants you. Okay, how about 1 hour driving distance to a city?
Okay.
That's kind
Okay.
of
Close enough.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do want to retire. Like that's
Oh,
like,
absolutely,
okay,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I imagine myself like with just a stack load of books and like reading, just being left alone and reading for long periods of time, and maybe
That
trying my
sounds
hand at writing. Yeah.
that sounds amazing.
Do you think about the future much on a 5 to 10 year scale?
No, I don't.
Hmm.
Um, no, I don't. Yeah, no.
Okay. On a even shorter horizon, concretely, what's your prediction for when the world will open back up post COVID?
I'm hoping soon. I miss to see. I want to see y'all first of all. It's kind of like now I'm like so sick of just working from home. I would say I would want things to open, but and I'm hoping that with vaccines, maybe end of the year.
December, like you're thinking like November, December, that time frame.
Yeah, like I feel that that will be maybe we can get back together and you know wave at each other from like a distance.
Why would we still be waving at a distance? I'm hoping everybody's
Me too.
vaccinated, number of cases are down. Okay.
Me too. Me too. Fingers crossed. But no, I'm planning like my summer vacation. So I think about that a lot.
Okay.
So that's the horizon. But I feel that having said that, and also being a woman, I feel that I actually want to think about the future more. Um, I it's something that I feel that I should do. With like decision about like family and all that stuff. It's something that I am not I'm not used to thinking. Um, but whenever but I feel that I should. It's something that I need to improve on.
Sense. Do you think there's a point to life in our existence?
Wow. As in like no, I think as in if there is a point, as in if we're here randomly, or like
Is there a purpose? Is there a goal? Is there
no, I think that um I think we're here by chance. Um Now, is there a purpose? I don't know. I can't justify a purpose when, especially now when, we're headed towards like a destruction of the environment, and I'm like very pessimistic about that. So I don't think, no, I don't think that there is, no.
And what do you find, what do you personally find meaning in?
What do I find meaning in? I find meaning in, I find substantial meaning in interacting with people.
Yeah.
In any capacity, work, life, like interactions with people.
Yeah. And on even more philosophical note, pineapple on pizza, yummy or an abomination?
Oh, I love pineapple pizza. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. How do you decide what to work on?
How do I decide what to work on? I think it's a combination of being excited about the path, so the ideas to try on, and believing very much in the goal. If things were to work out, what after? So a combination of these two. That's how I decide what to work on.
How do you capture and keep track of ideas?
I have a notebook. But yeah, I think, yeah, having a notebook, I also, I tend to also write things, sketching things out in code, like in pseudocode kind of a way to remember sort of, because sometimes a notebook is not enough. You want to sketch things out. Yeah. But I feel that most of my time is not occupied by new ideas, but it's more about how to make ideas work. That's a field that where most of the time goes.
What are some traits common across some of the best collaborators or colleagues that you've worked with?
Oof.
Like what makes you like particularly gravitate towards certain people and go, that's someone who I want to work with, and I really enjoyed this collaboration?
Yeah. There's so many different modes that I've enjoyed. Some revealed to myself that I enjoyed them after a bit. Some were more enjoyable during the time. I think that there is a lot. So learning new things, I feel that was that's a good trait for a collaboration and something that I enjoy. Getting things from like work style from them, from my collaborators that I wouldn't previously have. And yeah, so I think it's a combination. And then of course, like having a really great, fun, good times during the collaboration with tangent threads on like Slack with just random thoughts, all the way to like others where they pushed me, into areas that I was not used to, and now I look back and I say, oh wow, that actually that was very good. So yeah, so it's a combination, but I would say that the majority of my projects and my collaborations have been very fun. I've been very lucky to work with good people.
And do you think you can spot some of these traits early? Like, can you tell in a few meetings whether this is going to be a fun collaboration or not?
I think so. And more importantly, I also try to bring that in too, encourage people to be silly and say not just only have to say you don't always have to sound like the smartest and everything you have to say has to be a cool new thing, just to have fun. And but yeah, and like I can definitely, so I'm trying to force that, but I also whenever I spot that something is not gonna work out, I try to give it a few tries before I give up. And I've given up collaborations because I thought that they were not gonna be fun.
Describe something that made you smile today.
Our conversation. Okay, no, but in all honesty, our neighbor has bees that he's trying to keep in Oakland, in the city of Oakland. He's trying to have some bees, and these bees are constantly escaping because they don't want to be here, obviously. And he does all these tricks to make them stay. Like he imitates rain so that they don't leave. Today he was like putting some smoke around them just to create apparently that's what you do with bees. You have to create this environment so that they don't feel like they want to leave their home. So either rain or smoke does that apparently. So I was looking like just before I joined this, I was just laughing my ass off.
How does one imitate the rain? Like, is he just standing around with a
You
hose?
take a hose and you sprinkle the beehive.
I see. Okay. And this is a man-made hive. This is an artificial construction. It's not like he just found a hive in his house. Okay.
This is and I think that we're now in like the fourth queen.
I see. Okay.
But hey, at least we get some honey, so that's good.
You get fresh, local, organic, neighborhood sourced.
Correct, honey, from like bees that clearly don't want to be here.
I see. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
What is some of the best advice you've gotten or given? Or what would you tell?
Best advice. I think that's something that I remember that I try to that I apply to myself very much, that I've heard is the 24-hour rule. So wait 24 hours before you respond to something. So in that, like, just to make everyday life better, like
calm down.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't immediately respond. Has been very useful for CVPR stuff, let me tell you. I think that's a good advice, but I feel that I've gotten so much great advice from when I started, even if it doesn't register, little things.
Yeah. Why did you agree to do this interview with me?
Why I agreed? Because I like you.
Thank you. That's quite generous of you, and that's quite nice of you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, like, it coming from you is very, like, who it comes from is definitely like a big part of it.
Yeah. Okay, those were all my questions, Georgia. Is there something that we didn't cover that you think is particularly representative about your life and your work and your thing that we should talk about?
No, I don't think so. I think I mean, you asked me questions that now I'm like thinking, and I'm gonna think about them more, and I'm like, what's the meaning? Like, is there a point of why we're alive? No.
Yeah, that one comes out of nowhere, and I agree.
Yeah.
And it is purposely coming out of nowhere. Like there's no run up to it.
I have a question for you though.
Sure.
Like, what do you think is, like, first of all, have you learned anything from talking to people about people in our field, about these things, from their answers to these questions?
Yeah. I mean, so from watching the interviews that David did in season 1 and talking to people in this this set of people, there's a couple of things that have stood out. Like so there are some questions that have a lot of diversity in their responses. People are very different in their personalities. Like the competitive one, there's a fairly binary split happening. There's a lot of people that say no, I'm not competitive, and there's half the people who say yeah, I'm competitive, but they all, similar to you, say yeah, but I'm not competitive with other people. I just like setting higher goals. Then there are other questions where it's surprisingly consistent, the answers that people give. Like there've been only like one person who has, one or two maybe, who've said that they think there's any point to life. Like everybody uniformly has just said no, which is kind of like, what is that? Maybe there's a very heavy sampling. There obviously is a very heavy sampling bias in the kinds of people that Devi and I are reaching out to, but it tells you something about who we're surrounded by. Yeah.
I was about to say, yeah. And do you think that there has been any sort of particular answer that has triggered anything in the way that you think about something?
Oh yeah. So there've been a couple of interesting answers. Like trying to think about like from the videos that are already public, Vladlen's interview was particularly interesting in how he just sort of structures his day. Like it was just a question of like, what's your daily routine like? So I found that because my schedule was already kind of similar to his, I could relate to some of it and see that there's a particular value in, like, he gets up at like 5 a.m. And his favorite moment is when the world comes alive, like just sunrise, and I could relate to that.
Okay.
There have been, like, Jiabin is a faculty member at Virginia Tech, and Devi had spoken to him last year, and he was saying that in COVID times he's just spending, other than 2 or 3 hours of the day, he's spending a significant percentage of his time just, he has 2 young kids and he's just spending time taking care of them. And I sort of, I know enough about the world to be abstractly aware that there are other people who just have significant time commitments, and like they're having to deal with things that I'm not having to deal with. But when you actually meet someone who tells you, whose life is very similar to you, and they tell you like, look, I have to fit all of my work into 2 hours because I have 2 kids who just need me right now, and there's just no support system. That's a fairly powerful connection.
I agree.
Yeah. And in some sense, that was the point of this series, where you get to see the people behind the work, because we talk about the work all the time, and we, there are plenty of places where we lionize people as for their work.
I guess I have a last question, but do you think that anything alarming has come out of it? Like you say, like, we talk about work and we think about work all the time. And I feel that in my answers, like I realized that I also did that. And now I'm thinking like, okay, this cannot be healthy, right? Like, is our life gravitating too much to work? I mean, no judgment, like it's not like judging, it's just like.
Yeah, well, I think people different people carve out different boundaries and are dealing with different constraints. There definitely is, as I said, there's a sampling bias of the kind of people we're reaching out to, and in our work sphere, it seems to be attracting people who are susceptible to defining themselves in terms of their work, because of the way we're training people through the PhD program and the research community. And we're sort of doing things where and I'm guilty of this myself, where you go, my self-worth is tied into the quality of the work that I put out. And when you do that, then people will choose to make trade-offs in their work-life, integration, or how they balance things. Where if you were perhaps looking back after a 20-year career, they knowing what they know then, they may not make the same choices. So yeah, there's a little bit of that happening, but I look at that and I say, who am I to judge anyone? If
Of course,
if people are happy, then that's the decision that they're making.
Yeah. No, it's true. But like when I talk to my friends who are not in AI, not in computer science, like they think that we're crazy. Like, and they think that we're not normal for, tying ourselves so much to our work, like our self-worth, our importance, like our everything. And like sometimes I'm trying to think like who is right, who's wrong, or is there such a thing? I don't think I'm gonna get an answer to that. I just wonder if like there's any sort of common grounds among all of us.
Yeah. I do think there's the the issue that people talk about work-life balance. I think that's a symptom, that's not the disease. Like there's an underlying, well, maybe disease is not the right word, but there's an underlying causal or a latent variable, which is about how we view our role and what we find enjoyment in and happiness in. And maybe that's not something that we're going to solve.
Along with it, if there's a point in life. Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Georgia, thank you for doing this. I think this was quite valuable, and I hope you had fun as well.
I did, and thank you for inviting me. I was not really expecting that I would be contemplating about the meaning of life, which I will be today, I'm sure. And then I'll try to forget about it tomorrow.
Yeah, Wednesday, 3 p.m. What else is there to do? Like
exactly, like middle of the week. But thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. And I hope to see you in person soon.
Same here. Hope to see you in person soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.